Hey guys, Mustang here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be talking about the change in formats of the banners between part 1 and part 2, how everybody is feeling about that. We're going to talk about expectations, we're going to talk about communication from Dokkan and in the community as well. And we're going to talk about some of the previous anniversary banners and how these formats have gone down and how formats have changed over celebrations over the years. So we got the data download earlier today. I did a video a few hours ago. Shout out to Proton, of course, as always, for the thread, breaking down the info. But we basically got all of the assets for the banners in the data download. And that made it apparent immediately, because of the lack of graphics or anything for that, that the banners in part 2 are not going to have the same format as the banners in part 1. I talked about this a little bit at the end of the data download video, but I did say in that video I wanted to do this video primarily focusing on this and going over all of the stuff. I didn't want it to take up too much of the data download video because that was just to break down all of the info and everything we know from the files. So when it comes to the banners in part 2, all we know now currently is that the banners are going to be 3 multis get 1 free, and that's it. That's all we know. The only other thing we are aware of that is similar to part 1 is that there is a ticket banner, and of course we have these tickets, the Dokkan Festival 2 and the Legendary Carnival Summon 2. Now the one thing that we don't know is how you get these tickets. It almost goes without saying that there will be purchasable ticket packs, as there pretty much always is, as there was in part 1. So there should be packs of these tickets that you can buy. Now, I don't want people to get their hopes up. I made a tweet. It was actually, I retweeted our boy Platty, so shout out to him. This is obviously nothing against him, just want to show his tweet here. I did retweet it anyway, so you guys will see it if you follow me on Twitter. But one thing that was noticed is in part 1, you were able to buy these packs of tickets where you bought the first small pack, then you could buy the second pack that was a bit more expensive that had some more tickets in it, and then you could buy the third pack, which was the highest priced one, and that came with a premium ticket. And the premium ticket could be used to do a summon where you would get a guaranteed featured character, and you were able to buy those for both of the banners. However, there is no premium ticket in the data for the part 2. So that means there is no premium summon. So even if they do add a bunch of purchasable ticket packs of these tickets, there is no premium one. It's just these normal ones. So I've seen a few people speculate about this. There's a possibility that these tickets might be both for Pilaf packs and acquired by doing normal summons. Because remember, the anniversary format up until now for Global has always been do 3 multis, get 1 free, and then you get 3 tickets for doing each of the paid multis. So every 3+1 rotation would give you 9 tickets, which of course they do on purpose. It's an odd number to make you do more summons. But of course that leads to, depending on how much you're summoning on the banner, quite a few free tickets. But then they changed the format for part 1 and they gave us the step-ups with the, do 3 multis, get 1 free that were discounted, then do 3 multis that were also slightly discounted. The third one was being a full price 50 stone multi, but that would be the 7th multi overall, was a guaranteed featured unit. So that whole rotation was 255 stones. You only got 1 free multi, but the 7th multi was guaranteed featured. A lot of people did not like this format because, of course, with the 3+1 and free tickets, you would end up getting more summons with, even up to like 1,000 stones spent, you would end up getting more summons. Of course, the thing that was kind of the sweetener as to whether or not you decide whether that is better or not is the guaranteed featured, because then at least you have a 1 in 10 chance of pulling the new unit instead of 1 out of however many SSRs there are in the general pool. And when I did my summons in part 1, I mean, the number of free multis I did that were just absolute garbage, the guaranteed featured one can certainly be very good. Now, that being said, I didn't pull Broly on any of those step 7 guaranteed featured multis. I pulled all of my copies of him from other steps in the step up. So, guaranteed featured doesn't always mean guaranteed new unit. So anyway, we've now gone back to 3+1, and we don't know about tickets. Tickets are available, but are they available only by purchasing? Who knows? If they were available for free as well, like the previous anniversary formats, that would be really awesome. But obviously, I don't think that's going to be the case. This is what I said when I retweeted Platty's tweet. Do not get your hopes up that we're going to get free tickets. If we do get free tickets, that's awesome. Like, I hope we do. That would be great. But do not expect that we're going to get free tickets. So all we know for certain is 3+1 for 400 hours, as always with these big banners, but no other, you know, discounts. There might be the first 3 multis might be discounted, who knows? But this is where we're going to compare going back to the older anniversary banners and stuff. So here we have the banner on JP for the Beast Gohan banner. This, as it came out, was the 400 hours, do 3 multis, get 1 free. That is literally the way the banner is going to be on JP, on Global, as far as we know. Remember, JP never gets these free tickets. So it is one of the big things that Global players were worried about, that when the game's synced, would Global lose out on these free tickets? And if anything, this Part 2 Beast banner could be the indication that actually, yes, that potentially is what's going to be what happens once the games are synced. Now, of course, like I said, we could find out tomorrow morning that we are in fact getting the free tickets, but who knows? Now, the big thing about this is the Dokkan X Carnival format, which some people warmed up to it, some people don't like it still. I'm now seeing a lot of people are blaming this like outcome of where we are now on the Dokkan X Carnival format, because when we look at last year's anniversary and we go to the this is the Carnival Goku banner. So for 350 hours, perform 1 multi-summon, get 1 free. We did get the rainbow tickets, which of course will be the thing that we'll be getting now, except of course it's the full 77 summon, but there was no ticket version of this banner. So the Part 2 banners for the anniversary have never had the do a multi and get 3 tickets for free, because these are obviously the Part 2 Carnival banners, right? So we had AGL Kai Goku and Int Z Gohan. These banners did not ever have tickets. I even went back and checked my summon stream from last year, and they did not have discounted multis either. It was literally 50 stones and then 3+1. So realistically, it means that the Part 2 banners for this anniversary seemingly just have the exact same format that the Part 2 banners had for every previous anniversary. Well, I say every previous, because of course last year was the first time we got a dual Carnival. The year before that, we were still getting the format where it was 1 yellow coin banner that had 2 new LRs on it. But even then, no discounts, no tickets. Now, this is why I'm saying the Carnival X Dokkan format is under fire once again, is because of course Beast Gohan is coming out in Part 2, but is a Dokkan Fest exclusive banner. So if we had the same format that we had for, let's say, the 8th anniversary, where both the Dokkan Fest released in Part 1, Beast Gohan would have been in Part 1, which means he either would have had that Part 1 format with the step-ups, or we would have had the 3+1 with the free tickets, which of course for a lot of people, considering for many people Beast Gohan is the sole focus of the anniversary, that's the main reason why they're upset, right? They wanted discounts or the new steps from Part 1 or free tickets because they want Beast Gohan. He's been the big hype, he's been the target at the end of the tunnel for the last like 6 months since the anniversary on JP. So I can understand a lot of people are disappointed because he is who they're going for. Even with the banner format change in Part 1, which I did think was good, a lot of people held off summoning on Part 1 because they wanted to summon on Part 2. And of course, as I've already said, we assumed that we would probably get the same format in Part 2. Now, this is where it comes down to what I said at the beginning about expectations and communication. Because I also said I very much think that the Part 1 banner format will be the same for Part 2. But they never said it was going to be. They did a Dokkan Now and they talked about the banner format for Part 1. And this is where the communication comes in, is they should have just said in that Dokkan Now that this was a special format for the Part 1 banners because they wanted to get people excited for Gohan. Oh, see, Gohan on the brain. They wanted to get people excited for Broly and Gogeta. Because realistically, you've got to remember that the community has spent basically the last 6 months hyping up Beast Gohan. A lot of people were straight up saying they weren't even going to summon on Part 1 because now we know that Beast Gohan is Part 2. They want to save all their summons to summon for Beast Gohan. So they seemingly put in this new banner format for Part 1 to get people excited to summon for Broly and Gogeta, which, I mean, it worked, right? Because people summoned for Broly and Gogeta. It wasn't a lot of locations, but we got top grossing for part 1. When I streamed my summons for the part 1 banners, even though that's only a small slice of the community, you know, there was a lot of people in the stream, but in terms of the community on the whole, I put a poll in the chat before the banners came up. Who are you summoning for first? Broly, Gogeta, or I'm skipping like / saving for Beast. And the majority of the votes were for Broly or Gogeta. Very few people in that poll said that they were skipping part 1 completely to save for Beast. So maybe that's because of the banner format, maybe not. I think Broly and Gogeta are both fantastic units, so who knows, right? There probably was going to be tons of people that would have summoned for them regardless, but the part 1 banner format definitely could have played a role in people summoning. And then Beast Gohan's in part 2. You have to remember that, unfortunately, as a gacha game and as a business, it's one of those things where the community has basically been broadcasting. We might as well have set a signal fire on the hill and been sending smoke signals that the part 2 banner is the only thing that anyone cares about. So obviously, when it comes to their decision making of, are they going to give us a bunch of free tickets or step ups with discounts and stuff like that, as much as it sucks for the players, like, they know that they don't need to do that because people are going to summon for Beast Gohan. And the 3+1, you know, is an anniversary staple, same with the worldwide. It's, you know, something we expect from these really big celebration banners, but at least that is better than nothing, like the 3+1. And as I've said already, the part 2 anniversary banners, even though they've not been Dokkan Fest before, this, you got to remember, this is the first anniversary where a Dokkan Fest exclusive banner has been the banner in part 2. But the banners in part 2 have never had tickets or step-ups or anything like that. And this is just exactly how JP got the banner. So I have seen some people say, I mean, again, remember, I think people are understandably disappointed. I don't think anyone who's disappointed and was like hoping for the part 2 format or for the free tickets to have stayed around, I'm not saying anything negative about those people whatsoever. I think we should have had the same format as part 1. You know, I think this is a weird choice. But at the end of the day, like, this is just the banner as it was on JP. And players, including myself, have wanted the games to sync for a long time. And now we're getting the banner exactly as it was on JP. And a lot of people are upset that Global isn't getting special bonuses and special extras and stuff like that. Because there is a tweet here from, it was Proton retweeted it after talking to... where is it? After this guy, Brother Russia, he's like a big global whale, part of the DBZ community that was the guys helping out people with Chain Battle back in the day. I've seen said and even said myself something about the banner format for part 2 for the anniversary. After talking with Proton, he brought up a bunch of good points in this regard. Number 1, they knew that Beast Gohan was the main prize from this anniversary, so to entice people to summon on part 1, they changed the format for Broly and Gogeta, and guess what? The change worked, people summoned. So this is what I'm saying, right? The part 1 was a special thing that they did to try and get people excited to summon for Broly and Gogeta. My biggest takeaway to this point, or contention to this point, is that they should have just communicated that better. Like, they could have literally said in that Dokkan Now, this is a special banner format just for part 1, because we know you guys are excited for Beast, but we want you guys to be excited for Broly and Gogeta because they're both fantastic units. If they'd said that, we would know that we weren't getting that format in part 2, and people wouldn't have been as upset. But as always, Dokkan's biggest issue is communication, and they didn't tell us that. So a lot of people assumed, myself included, that we would get the part 2 format in part 1 format in part 2, and we're not. So number 2, they know that people will summon for Beast regardless of the banner format we have. Whether we had the part 1 format or the 3 get 1 free with possible tickets, people will still summon. And this is what we said, right? Even if we don't get the free tickets per multi, people have been waiting for Beast for 6 months. Even before we knew that they were going to have a new banner format for part 1, people have been planning to summon on a Beast Gohan banner that was just 3+1. Although, of course, for Global, we still expected there would probably be free tickets. But people are not just going to suddenly decide they don't like Beast Gohan or are not hyped for Beast Gohan anymore because the banner format isn't the same as part 1. And then he says, if you're not happy with the format change, simply don't summon. Try your luck with the rainbow tickets instead and use your coins when they come back. And then I know you'll still summon anyway, regardless of the change. I mean, a lot of people still will, whether you're disappointed or not, and rightly so or not. I mean, you don't not summon for Beast after all this time just because the banner format has changed from part 1. It's still essentially the format we expected, just without the free extra tickets. So it's definitely a weird situation. I do feel genuinely sorry for, like, and there's a lot of people who've said that they feel like this has ruined the hype for the part 2 banners, and that sucks because obviously, you know, we all want to enjoy the game, we want to enjoy playing the game. So if you genuinely have lost hype for the part 2 banners because of this, then that is disappointing. Global should have handled this a bit better. Like I say, maybe just even straight up saying, you know, this is only for part 1. Whether they wanted to add context and say that it was because they wanted part 1 to be more enticing, they don't even have to say that. They could have just said that it was a special format for part 1 only, but because they didn't, expectations were set and then not met. And of course, you know, we didn't get a Dokkan Now talking about the part 2 banners or anything. We've just found out last minute via the data download, which I think rubs people the wrong way a little bit as well. Because of course they would have known going into the anniversary that they were doing the part 2 format differently to part 1, but they didn't communicate it to anyone. So it's a little bit disappointing, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We get what we get. We get the Beast Gohan banner, 3+1. Maybe we'll get the free tickets, although, like I said, I wouldn't get our hopes up. We'll have the Gamma's banner with the 3+1 as well. No part 2 banners in anniversaries before have had discounts or step-ups or tickets, so we are in a similar situation to previous anniversaries. The only major difference is the Dokkan Fest X Carnival format means that we've, for the first time ever, had a Dokkan Fest exclusive LR banner in part 2 of the anniversary, and a Dokkan Fest exclusive anniversary banner that did not have either free tickets or the step-ups like the part 1 banners did. So overall it is a bit disappointing, but I mean, for me, I'm still hyped for Beast. Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. Has this damaged the hype for part 2 for you? Are you still excited to summon for Beast regardless? Who knows, maybe we'll get those free tickets, but like I said, do not get your hopes up, because if I had to bet, I would say that we're probably not. If we do, that would be awesome, but I guess we will have to wait and see. So let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord, merch store, all of that good stuff. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.